Alrighty. Oh, now it's good? Oh, yay! I'm doing a happy dance. Oh, there's nothing worse than like trying to communicate and not being able to get through. All right, so let's start again. I've got the announcement of who won the drawing from last week for my free live online class. And some announcements and a great project featuring a simple layout, and I'm going to do variations on it with a couple of different techniques and different fun papers. So anyway, super excited to share that with you today. So let's just dive in quickly with the announcements. There is a new paper pumpkin kit available. It's called Adventure Awaits. It's I think it's sort of camping, nature themed colors. So that is available through July 10th. That just came out. And let's see what else. I'm super excited. I mentioned last week a little bit about my Maker's Mojo Creative Escape event. It is going to be on July 17th. I'm super excited about it. One of the demonstrators from last time is not able to join us, but I found two others that I'm really excited to be part of the team. You may be familiar with the two. So Wendy Lee is going to join us again, and then Alyssa Tilsner from Australia. Yay, we have an international demonstrator. So excited for her to join us. And then Audra Monk, who is here in the U.S. as well, who was a co-presenter with me on the same stage at On Stage here in Charlotte back in, I'm pretty sure it was 2018 if I'm remembering right. Anyway, so super excited for the new lineup and what that event has in store. Now, I was hoping that this week I was going to have the link up for registration, but too many things going on, working on getting the technique class kits out. And among other things, and so I was not able to get that registration link up, but it's coming really soon. I also did not send an email this week for my newsletter. The main thing I wanted to talk about was the registration for Maker's Mojo, so that newsletter is just going to go out late, and it's going to go out whenever the registration link is available. Let's see. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Laura Lee. I see people saying hi. I have to say hi. Thank you for sharing, Sharon. I appreciate it. Okay, let's see what else. So Maker's Mojo, July 17th, save the date. We have a little welcome event the evening before. That's about an hour where you get to meet the team and learn about the event. So when that comes to register, please consider signing up. We'd love to have you. My team members get it. Most of them will get it for free if they meet certain criteria as a team member. So you can look forward to that too if you're a team member. Okay, so giveaway results from last week. So I drew a winner for the live online landscape scenes class that's coming up the end of this month on June 25th. And the winner is, drumroll please, I don't think I've seen her name yet, but hopefully she'll join us and see that she won, Jan Moore. So congratulations to Jan. I will send you an email with the link to join the Private Treehouse Techniques Facebook page. Hi, Elizabeth. Yes, we were so preoccupied with dealing with the sound that we forgot to say hi to each other, right? So thank you for saying hi. Okay, see, what else? Okay, so that live online class is June 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that is the Landscape Scenes class. And you can register for either the live online class or the electronic class to go up until Tuesday, June 22nd. So that's 5 days from now. And the difference between the two is that the live online class is just the video portion. If you do the electronic class to go, you also get two PDFs, one with details of all the projects written and pretty and with photographs, and then you also get a technique-focused PDF that this time around is going to be probably very long. It includes, step-by-step instructions and photographs and all that. I was writing up some of the details today for that class, and there's, lots to share. So anyway, consider signing up for the Landscape Scenes class. It's so much fun. I am excited for it. Okay, let's see. There are some changes coming. I want to talk about some changes. So I am working really hard to try to find ways to streamline what I do, to do things that are going to give me a better return on my time and effort, because I spend a lot of time preparing kits and other things that I feel like I'm constantly behind. So I have decided moving forward that I am going to be discontinuing the free card kit program in the way that it is structured now. So the only way to get free card kits after July 31st, so starting August 1st, is going to be if you're a Stamp Club member. So if you have ordered from me before and you have gotten free card kits from me in the mail, I'm doing away with that. There'll be something else that I offer in the way of a gift, but it's just not going to be the kits because I'm just finding it takes me too much time. So that's kind of a big change for me as I try to streamline what I do. The other thing that's happening in terms of changes is that over the summer I've decided, and this is kind of in the same vein as I'm just sort of tired of always being behind, that I am going to be doing Facebook Lives every other week instead of every week. So instead of going on next Thursday, I'm going to skip next Thursday and come on the following week. And that's hopefully just going to give me a little bit more room in my schedule to catch up, get ahead, work on technique classes into the future instead of always doing it at the very end of the deal. Oh, I see Jan is here. I'm so glad you're here. Did you hear that you won? You won the live online class for the landscape scenes class, technique class, and I will be adding you to the group. So you'll get an email. Okay. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to do the Facebook Lives every other week, and for my newsletter, I'm either going to do it every other week or on an as-needed basis. I've been doing it every single Wednesday and occasionally Thursday mornings if I don't get it to Wednesday night, pretty religiously for quite some time. And so that's going to, over the summer at the very least, I'm going to be doing a little bit less in the way of the newsletter frequency. All right, so let's see, moving right along. So last but not least, you guys know the January to June mini catalog is retiring. The last chance list is out. And we're going to be using some products tonight that are retiring. So I'm featuring the Vine Design Bundle, which includes a stamp set and some dies. And that's going to be the focus of our project today. Neither of those things are on sale, unfortunately, but they're still going away and they're still beautiful. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the camera down and we're going to start with the project. So as I turn my camera around, you can see on the other table, maybe, there's a little box that has some, I think it's just jade in the front. You can't really see it too well, but those are the Technique class project kits that I was preparing today to get in the mail tomorrow. So anybody who's doing the class with a kit, my goal is to always get it to you before the class goes live, so you'll have it to use it, if not during the class, after the class. So now, on my workspace, I have laid out the Vine Design stamp set, some die-cut pieces from the Flowering Vine dies, and then the Flowering Vine dies themselves here. I just love these shapes. They're so pretty. These are really the featured item, is the Flowering Vine dies on this project. So these are some of the things I've made in the past with Flowering Vine, with the Vine Design set and the dies. This was another one that I did with the masking. Some of you who are regulars will recognize these. And then last but not least, I did this, which doesn't use any of the dies, but it uses the stamp set and the New Designer series paper. So anyway, just thought I would do a little show and tell on that front to remind you of some of the potential with this stamp set and dies. So for the card today, I'm using just the sentiment, let's see, and mostly the dies. Okay, so I'm going to set aside the stamp set. We're going to focus on the dies, and I'm going to show you the card that I'm making. So what I did with this card was, this was actually a total case, okay? So I stole this idea, case meaning copy and share everything, if you haven't heard that expression. Hi, Kathleen, it's so good to see you here. I'm so glad you were able to make it. I haven't seen you here in a long time. So happy to see you here. So this is a case from Mary Fish, who some of you may recognize that name from Stampin' Pretty. She does beautiful, really simple kinds of designs, simple, classic, beautiful designs. And I think there was only maybe one thing that I changed on this, but pretty much exactly how she presented it. So it's early espresso and vanilla, and then she used a sentiment from the set with the die in that same set to cut out that shape and stamp it. So I just loved how this turned out, and I wanted to just play and tweak with some other possible designs with that very same layout, just to see what kind of creative ideas bubbled up. So the first one I'm going to start with is I'm going to use some of the Love You Always metallic paper. Oh yes, and thank you people for sharing. You feel free to tag friends. I love it that I didn't even have to say it and you guys are doing it anyway. It's wonderful. So this Love You Always specialty foil paper is one of the items that's going away as well. It's in the current mini, the January to June mini, and I'm not even sure what the exact colors are. I think this one's supposed to be gray granite, and I'm not sure about the others, but anyway, they're really pretty foils. So I'm going to redo this design with the foils and show you some things you can do to both save your paper, to be efficient about how you use it, and make the process of putting it together easier too. So I've got a piece of foil here, and what I have here is a piece of a sheet of my adhesive sheets. So we sell these at Stampin' Up, and it's just adhesive sandwiched between two kind of plasticized pieces of backing. Now, you guys know when I do my designs, I often have these little plasticized pieces that I put adhesive on my pieces ahead of time, and I place them on that. Well, these are prime, the backings of these, for saving and using for that purpose that I always do it with. So you'll see some of that in just a bit. So there's another scrap of it. You can see that you can pull off the pieces in segments. So I just cut this down. I'm pretty sure it's 3 by 4 1/8, something of that sort, approximately. And I'm going to just turn this over, and I'm going to put it right on the back side of my foil. So I'm going to remove my backing. Let's see. It always wants to stick to the side that has the pieces, the smaller pieces. Let's see. So this is the hardest part. This will be the biggest challenge of the day, maybe. It's just peeling the piece off. Okay, so, and I like to do it a little bit at a time, not all at the same time, because once it's down, it's down. Okay, so on this side, you see I've got the piece on the back is cut in the middle, and this side is a solid piece. I think that's relevant in just a minute. Okay, so let's just center this on my foil and press it down, and part of it comes off. And then I'm going to put the other piece down so that it lines up with the first one, just like that. Okay, where's she going with this? So there's my plastic piece, right, that I'm going to use to store away and use on some project in the future. Okay, now I need my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And now I'm placing this face down. I'm going to put my die right in the middle. And I'm going to put a piece of paper on top because my plastic cutting plates always have a bunch of texture in them, and I don't want to put the texture in my foil, which will happen. So I'm going to put my paper over the top, and that's just a plain piece of copy paper, scrap paper, and then run it through. And I'm going to run it back and forth a few times because this is a very detailed die, and I want to make sure that it really cuts all the way through. Let's see, we're going to actually turn it over and look. Can't see over there. Lift it up. And does it look like it cut it? I think it does. So now I'm going to use my little Reiki tool to get all the pieces out. The outside always comes off pretty easily. The more challenging part is always the center where all the detail is. So you can see in the back that my adhesive sheet is still showing back there, and my die really was well centered in there. Kind of, you know, I wasn't too exacting about where I put it, but it was close enough and big enough so that it did the job. Okay, so there's my piece, and now I just need to rake out the inside pieces. Okay. Now, in the interest of time, I, of course, like the magic of TV, I got a little head start on this. So the rest of the pieces for this are pretty straightforward, right? So I got a white card base, it's 5.5 by 8.5, a piece of white cardstock. Now my pink is going in behind the white for a nice little subtle edge that'll go with my die cut piece. But guess what? I haven't wasted all that piece and all that stuff in the back. Isn't that good? Don't want to waste all the stuff in the back. Okay, so there's that. And then I've got my die cut piece, which, of course, I need to work on getting those extra pieces out. Don't want to spend that time here doing it with you guys. But all I would do is just peel off the backing. And let's see, do I have a line there I can work with? Yeah. So there's the little line, right? That's where having it pieced together in the back is kind of handy. And then I can just pull it off. And all that is tacky and sticky, right? It's even pulling off some of the excess pieces that are stuck in there. And then I'm going to tack it right down there and stamp my sentiment. And voila! The magic of TV. I love it. Now, I did put some foam adhesive sheets, a piece of foam adhesive sheet in behind this. And so let's just do this quickly, just so that the visual will be useful there. Okay, so I'm just going to put some glue on the front of this, not going too close to the edge because I don't want that to ooze out. And that's just going to be what holds my white in place. And then I would just cut a piece of foam adhesive sheet and stick it right there on the back and attach it to the front of my card. So just cut that off, right? So you get the idea. I'm 99% there with my card. And you see the finished one right there. So we're all good. I'll finish that off camera so I can show you more things. Okay, so next up, I've got another version that I did in a slightly different way. So I'm just going to talk you through how I did this one. So imagine that instead of putting a foam adhesive sheet on the back of my foil, I put I put a adhesive sheet on the back of my foil like I did here. I put a foam adhesive sheet on the back of my foil. Now this is one of the gray granite pieces. So I just stuck it in there and then I ran it through my Big Shot with the foam adhesive sheet back there. Now I forgot to put a piece of white over the top, so it's got some little texture in there from my cutting plate, unfortunately, but most of that will get hidden, so it should be okay. So let's just put this one together, and I'm going to tell you that you may not want to do this. This is one of those learn from me and don't do what I do kind of things. Okay, where's my white sheet? I had a white piece. Let's see if this is the right size. Yes, okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to attach this to the front. And I could put the adhesive on the outside of this white or on the outside edge of my gray granite foil. Either way, it's probably a little safer to put it on the gray granite foil, but since I got that opening in behind, just have to have you see this end result. It's so pretty. So for this back here, I'm going to need to cut off a piece of my foam adhesive sheet to go in back there, because then this is not raised up like the middle is. So I'm just going to snip off a piece and put that there. And I've got the outside edge that I can use for popping up that portion. So it comes off super easy. Now, I will tell you, and actually, this is what I would have done if I was thinking about it. Okay, you leave that on there, and you just peel back a little bit. So here's what kept happening for me when I was doing this is I'd put some of it down, and it would be tacked down instantly in exactly the spot that I put it in, whether it was the right spot or not. So if you take off just a little bit of the backing at a time, then it's a little bit easier to control the placement of your piece. Okay, so the bottom portion is attached, but so now I can just kind of slip that out, and I need to take off the backing. You guys seeing what I'm talking about? So now I can just pull it back, and I'm able to control the positioning just by attaching it in one spot on the bottom to begin with. Okay, so that should be right. And you will, once you put down these foam adhesive sheets, unless you use something like Undo, which is a kind of magic but toxic substance you can use to remove things when they've already been adhered, it is stuck. I mean, like permanently. Oh, Sahara sand? Oh, yes, yes. Oh, very good. Yes, so this foil is Sahara sand, not gray granite. Thank you so much. I need a little help from my friends often. Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit about this piece. So this piece is what came out of the middle of the one that I just attached, and it does have the foam adhesive sheeting. So it's lovely that it's attached like this, right? But it was such a bear to get all those little tiny pieces out because it was so thick when I put it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine that, you know, like one piece at a time, I had to take my paper piercing tool and poke the pieces out. So it was really not a lot of fun, so I wouldn't recommend it. It's nice that it's sticking up, but frankly, I don't really think it's worth the work. Just saying. But learn from my experience, okay? So now, there's even some little greeblies sticking out, but they probably won't show once I have it on here. So I'm just going to ever so carefully find my center, and I just absolutely adore this foil with the white. It's just so crisp and pretty. So there we go. You guys can see it. Now, on all of these designs, I have pearls. So, and in some I did more, and some I did less. So it's subtle, but let's see if we can get the camera to really show it. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anyway, there are lots of pearls. Yes, very classy. Isn't that so? Mary Fish is very classy. Much of what she does, it's like, how does she do it every time? It's amazing. So she's a lovely person to copy. Now, when I was thinking that this color was gray granite, I went and stamped this in gray granite, and honestly, it looks just fine. So even though it's not exactly the same color, it's pretty close. So I got a dimensional on either end, very small one, and then I'm just going to put a couple of glue dots in the center to tack it down in the center. And because the ones on the outside are going to be hanging off the edge, and this one's going to be obviously popped up, I wanted it to be even. So that's why glue dot in the center and dimensionals on the outside edge. And I'm just going to center it right in there. I love these two designs with the foil papers. And of course, these papers are going away, but isn't that just so gorgeous? I just love them. Okay, I got more for you. Now these are just variations on the theme. So, but really fun variations. So the next one we're going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to use some embossing paste and take you through a little bit of what I experimented with and how I came up with this next version. Okay, finding my supplies. So what I have here is my shimmery white embossing paste, and I need something that I don't have here. Let's just use this. I'm going to use a silicone craft mat, and I'm going to put a little bit of my embossing paste onto the silicone craft mat. It's It's kind of goopy. The embossing paste, I haven't used it a lot, but, oh, jeez. Oh, my gosh. Here, look at me. I have embossing paste on my arm. We're just going to scrape that right off. That worked really well. Don't drop your embossing paste, all right? My little lesson for the day. Okay, so I got some on here. You can see it's super shimmery and pretty. I don't know if it's capturing that, but there's like a glitter in there. And I'm going to take a couple of inks. So I got some Highland Heather. I don't want to use very much of these. I want it to be pretty subtle, but it's hard to do that with reinker, of course, because it's pure solid color. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's Gorgeous Grape. So Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape, my two purples, which I love, and then I'm going to use some Pacific Point. Super rich, pretty colors. Okay, so let's just kind of mix them a little bit. Has anybody played with this embossing paste? Sparkly lady. Yeah, I know. I'm all dressed. Actually, I got most of it off, I think. Okay, so I just did a little quick mix there. And I'm just going to swoosh and swoosh. Like, you can do anything with this, right? You could use a mask with it. I, again, got lots of ink on there, more than I necessarily intended. I'm going to grab some that has some white in it, because I kind of want a little bit of white in there too. And of course, this takes a while to dry, so it's not like, I'm not going to be able to show you necessarily the end result of this, but I have one that's finished. So I'm getting some purple in there in the mix. Okay, so, however, just spread it out, right? Now, this next card happened because I had a piece like this that I had played with and wanted to do something with it. So there's my crazy piece, and it'll dry and look a little bit different when it dries, but let's set that aside for now. Maybe I should show it on the camera just a little bit more so you can see that. Just a fun mix of colors. I was playing with this at a time when it was like winter, and I was doing something, with snowflakes. So this color scheme just seemed so perfect. Okay, so fast forward. Imagine that I've got a piece like the one I just created, and I want to do something with it, and I'm working with this design that I'm showing you today. So I think, well, how about I take that piece and I attempt to die cut it with this piece, right? Wouldn't that look pretty? So I went to go do it, and it didn't quite cut through, as you can probably imagine. So there's the piece. It cut around the outside edges, but in the center, no way. It just wasn't going through. It was too thick. But it looked really pretty, and I thought, well, maybe I can use that for something. So, you know where I'm going with this, I'm sure. So, I die cut a piece of Pacific Point, one of the colors that was in there. I'll let you see that in the white. Stamped the same sentiment. I got it all prepared with my dimensionals on the back side. And I've got an adhesive sheet on the back side. So I die cut it with an adhesive sheet so that I could pull off the backing and assemble this card and show you this fun alternative version. Now it's a little bit busy in the background. It's not quite as crisp as some of the other ones, just because it's a colored background, but I still think it's fun. So you can see how easy that is to pull that off. Now you could also, if you didn't want to use the adhesive sheets, you could use glue dots, which I think is what I may have done on my first early espresso version. It's not popped up, it's just flat on to the card. Or you could, very carefully cut tiny little pieces of dimensionals if you're a little bit crazy and place them around the back. But Glue dots rolled up works really well as well. But this, you know, it's just lovely because it's tacky all over. And now I'm just going to line that right up. And I'll just see the lovely colors peeking through my die cut shape. And of course I got all my pearls on there already. You can see the pearls. Even a little bit better on this dark version. Yeah, for the longest time I was forgetting to use my adhesive sheets, and I just started finding good uses for them. So you can see the sparkly in there. You know, it's a little bit, like I said, a little busier than the other two designs, but just still kind of fun. Had to show you my playing. Okay, I have one more fun thing to show you. This is what happens when I just start playing and thinking of different ways to play with a design. Okay, so what I have here, this is last but not least. I've got, okay, piece of black, piece of white, cut piece of an adhesive sheet, and a piece of black that does not have an adhesive sheet on the back. And what I'm going to do to start with is pull off the backing of my adhesive sheet. Okay, let's see. It's doing that thing. So I'm just going to pull off this first segment. I want it to line up exactly with my white. I'm tempted to get my head right in this camera. I want to see that it lines up. Okay, so now I got my first piece off. And now, let's get the second one on. Somebody tell me if there's an easier way to do this. I'm sure somebody has thought of another way to do it. Okay, I'm bumping that up against there. Okay, there we go. All right, now another adhesive back piece that I can put my pre-adhered things onto. I have them, many of them. Okay, so now I've got my white cardstock. The white cardstock is just a backing. And now I'm going to take off the front piece. This whole front surface is exposed, right, with adhesive. It's all tacky. Very important not to touch it, because if I touch it, what's going to happen is some of that adhesive is going to pull away. And I want it to all be solid. Okay. I'm afraid to do this. Okay. So I want it to be centered on my piece. Let's just fold that flat. I'm trying to just do part of it at a time so I can gauge my space. I think that's probably just about right. I think once it's down, right? And I'm going to grab my paper piercing tool, hold it down, pull the other side off. Okay, now I don't want to touch that surface because I don't want to mess with the adhesive that's in behind. Can anybody guess what I'm going to do next? Anybody? Oh, you're so glad you stayed up to watch it. Wonderful. Yes, you're, midnight or something like that, right? It's late for you. Thank you for joining us, Wendy. I love that. I always love that. You're trying to help me remotely. I love that, Kathleen. You're the sweetest person ever. Okay, so here's what's happening next. Did anybody guess what's happening next? Oh, good suggestions. Good. Glitter. Glitter's a very good suggestion, but this is something relatively new that I just love. Guess what? It's the Gilded Leafing. So when you use the Gilded Leafing, you can use the Gilded Leafing with anything sticky. So this was my little brainstorm as I was doing this. Wouldn't the black and the gilded leafing look just so beautiful together? So that's what we're doing here. Okay, so I have used much of this, and I'm gonna pour some more from my bottle out. So this stuff is really compact. Oh, you're finally here. Well, you're here for the grand finale, Pam. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so it comes in this bottle. It's all the way full, and it's very densely packed in there. So when you take it out, it sort of expands. I'm just going to pour the rest of this out because, you know, I'm going through it. So you have to be really careful about any sort of air movement that you create when you're messing with this stuff. Okay, off of my finger. The littlest puff of air. If anybody saw one of my recent blog posts, which subject was it? It was, oh yeah, it's actually just a few days ago. I had one of my club members who came to make projects with us, and she by accident blew into the gilded leafing we were using, and it was all over her work surface. And she told me I had permission to take a picture of her and put it on my website. So it's on there. So you can go look and see what does it look like when somebody blows into the gilded leafing. So black on the surface. It's all sticky and around. Are you guys ready for the magic? I'm so excited. I did this already, but I'm still really excited. So much fun. Okay, so we're just tapping it down into there. So anything you can attach, you can have adhesive on, any kind of adhesive really, as long as it's not too wet. Will stick to the gilded leafing and do fun and magical things. This to me is a little bit of magic. I do have a finished card, but I have to show you the whole removing the gilded leafing part. So I'm using a sponge. You can use like a stipple brush or something as well. And this is where you're just going to remove it so that it's pushing it into the grooves, getting it onto the portion that's sticky. And yeah, and that's it. Is there something else I was going to say? I don't think so. Okay, so you can see it's like, is this like magic or what? I think it's just like magical. Magical and fun. And I love that it's showing off this this dye so beautifully, because I love these dyes. I love the shapes. Fell in love with them the second I saw them. Now they're going away. Oh well, there'll be something else to play with. Okay, so you get the idea. I've got a finished card to show you. So anyway, there is my amazing, crazy gold. And it's just so bright and shimmery gold. It's much shinier than embossing powder. I know, I love the gold and black combination. Now, let me show you the finished card. So I'm going to ever so gingerly close that lid. Don't create any air movement. That turns out kind of crazy. Now, here is my finished one with the gilded leafing. So, just kind of crazy, right? So much fun. I had thought afterwards, and I might do that with this one, this is white, and I was thinking afterwards I should have used vanilla. So I may finish this one off with vanilla, because it would just be soft like the gold, warm tone instead of a cool tone. But no criticism there. It's still quite beautiful in my humble opinion. So there we go. Where's my last one? It's around here somewhere. Oh my goodness. This is what happens. Okay, so I'm going to look over here and just see if I can find it. It's got to be around here somewhere. Oh, there's all these other ones over here. That's where they are. Okay. So there are the other ones. That one I got to finish. But okay, so just because, you know, like you could keep playing with this. So many fun ideas with this dye. You could use other dyes in the same way if they were as beautiful. But I just was, or just before I went live, I thought, oh, I just want to die cut a piece with this rainbow paper and do the same thing, right? Would that not be amazing? And then the vellum, the new in color vellum, would be so pretty with that shape. So, you know, and of course there are the 5 new in colors that are that shape. And of course this looks like a vine and flowers. The green would be beautiful. So many fun ideas, right? So, but I ran out of time. So I couldn't make that other version. So those are my finished projects for today. I'm going to turn my camera around and we'll just finish up and say goodbye. I'm going to little reminders. Oh my goodness. Did I see who has ordered for 300 Thanksgiving cards? Let's see, was that Linda? I saw the comment go flashing by, and now it's gone. All right, so these dies. These dies are to die for. I couldn't help myself, right? Okay, so this is the one I used, but there's other beautiful ones in there as well. There's something just that I especially love about this rectangle, just like really elegant. But and then of course I use this one for the sentiment. So yes, I'm glad I played around too. I keep saying to myself when I do these Facebook Lives, when I do a blog post, I'm just going to do one project. I say to myself, I'm just going to do one project, and it's like I can't. I have to try this, I have to try that, and then hours later and 1,000 photographs later, I can't help it. It's just the fun of it, right? And this is so much fun. So thank you for joining me on this fun journey and letting me share it with you as well. Oh, I'm glad you like my hair, Kathleen. The name of that die set. Okay, I have my little example here. Here, they're all die cut out. Flowering Vine Dies. Yes, it's probably backwards. The number is 154332, Flowering Vine Dies. And the stamp set is the Vine Design set, and these are both retiring as of June 30th or while supplies last. You can get them as a bundle and save 10%, and neither of them are on discount, so do the bundle if you want this set. Now, I was not crazy about the stamp set itself. It was really the dies that made me have to have the bundle, but if you remember from the samples that I have, the words are wonderful. These are such amazing, I love the font. Just so easy to work with and versatile, great sentiments. And then, of course, this was one of the ones I stamped. I showed you these earlier, that one. That's the die and stamp, so they go so beautifully together. Another version there. And then, of course, that with the dies. So anyway, I definitely recommend the bundle. Can you tell I love it? So I'm saying goodbye to it. This is what I do. Things are going away. I have to say goodbye. So goodbye. This is officially the last thing I'll get a chance to make with it. All right. So before I let you go, is there anything I'm forgetting? Just the quick reminders. Don't forget to watch for Maker's Mojo details and RSVP registration details coming soon. Let's see what else. Jan, you got the live class. The Landscape Scenes class is coming up on June 25th. Last day to register is June 22nd. The kits are no longer an option because everything's been cut and ready, so I'm no longer won't be cutting anymore for that. But the electronic versions are available. And again, if you are interested in joining one of my stamp clubs, please let me know. If you love my free card kits, that's the way to go now. And when you do the stamp club, you actually get double kits. So it's a $55 club commitment for your order, and you get 2 each of 3 designs. So it's fun. People who do it love it. Let's see what else. I think that's pretty much it. Don't forget to check out the retiring last chance list before things are gone. And I guess last but not least, my next Facebook Live will not be next Thursday because I'm skipping a week. And so the next one will be on July 1st. And then the details about these projects will be on my blog Saturday, the 19th. And this video will go live in YouTube at that time as well. So, yay. Let me know if you have questions, comments, or I can help you with anything paper crafting related. I love this, as you know, and I love sharing it, and I love all of you guys for sharing in the journey with me. I just appreciate it so much. All right, Wendy, you have a good night's sleep. It's late for you. Thank you for joining in, everybody. And we'll see you in 2 weeks, or we'll see you online or on Facebook or something else just for chatting. All right, have a wonderful evening. Bye, everybody. Mwah. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you. You take care too, Kimmy. Bye.